What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today, you're talking sports with MG Johnson. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we have our 2022 MLB Season Predictions. Now, before we get into today's video, make sure you guys hit the like button if you enjoyed today's video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new, and hit that notification bell so that way you don't miss any video or live stream that happens on the channel. Now, before we get into today's video, ladies and gentlemen, we have to talk about something because I know I don't post baseball content a lot. You know, y'all subscribe to me because of football and basketball, and that's pretty much it. But ladies and gentlemen, we are going to introduce baseball to the channel the right way. And we're going to do it by going with our season predictions. Now, one more thing I want to say before we get into today's video. I will be live for Phillies opening day versus the Oakland Athletics on Friday at 3:05 Eastern. That's 12:05 Pacific. So make sure you guys come check that out. That's gonna be the second baseball live stream we've ever done on the channel, so that'll be cool. So come check out baseball live stream Phillies opening day on Friday. Y'all can come check that out. But ladies and gentlemen, let's get right to today's video. We got the 2022 MLB season predictions. And ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, we're gonna start off with the AL. I'm gonna give you my MVP, Cy Young, Rookie of the Year. We're gonna go to the National League and do the same thing. So let's start off with the AL, and we're gonna start off with the AL East, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna go from 5-1, and y'all can come play along. Drop y'all predictions in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Let's get right into today's video, though, ladies and gentlemen. So, at number 5, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Baltimore Orioles, ladies and gentlemen. Now, listen here, man. I think we all can agree the Orioles are going to finish number 5. They're not going to compete in this division. I think this actually could be one of the best divisions in baseball this year. With the next 4 teams that are going to be ranked in here, just because I that's just what I feel. But with the Orioles, they're just not good, bro, and they're definitely not good enough to compete in this division, like I said, which I think is going to be very good. But we'll see what happens. This is going to be another rebuilding year for the Orioles, but they're not going to be the greatest. I think we all can agree with that. So let's move on to our number 4 team. And my number 4 team, it might surprise some people, but it's going to be the Boston Red Sox. It's going to be the Boston Red Sox. Now, here's the thing about the Red Sox. They did sign Trevor Story, which I like. They have Bogarts, they have Devers, they have Verdugo, they got Bobby Dahlbeck. They got a solid hitting lineup here. Not too bad, honestly, but the pitching is questionable, and Chris Sale is already dealing with injuries. So that is going to be huge for them. But if Chris Sale could stay healthy, things could happen very, very well. And if everything does go right, I think the Red Sox could potentially finish second or third in the division. But what I think is going to happen, I don't think they're going to finish top 2, top 3 in the division. They could. They could. They have great talent there. I think Devers is a sleeper for MVP this season, but I just don't think they're going to finish top 3 in this division. And like I said, I think it's going to be a great division this year. So they could be like 1 game or 2 games out of first, but finish third in the division. That's just how good I think this division is going to be. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Am I overhyping this division or what? But let's move on to number 3. And number 3 is the New York Yankees, ladies and gentlemen. The New York Yankees. Look, they are one of the most famous sports franchises ever. But let's be honest, the Yankees are not going to be as dominant as they were for years and years and years in baseball. I think all the way up until the 2010s era, they've won a championship in every single decade since like the 30s or 40s. So that means they won in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, but they did not win in the 2010s. And I don't think the Yankees are going to be as dominant as they were. But let's talk about what they're going to do this season. I think they're going to finish number 3. And I think, without the vaccine mandate being in New York, all their guys can play. If Judge and Stanton are healthy leading this team, I think they're going to be great. You got LeMahieu, who I think is going to have a bounce back year. And then look at the pitching staff. It's all right. Garrett Cole obviously is dominant. He could win Cy Young this year. Because that's just how great he is. He's one of the best pitchers in baseball for a reason. So I think the Yankees finishing number 3 is cool. I think the highest they can finish is maybe number 2, but we'll see what happens this year. But let's go to number 2. That's going to be the Tampa Bay Rays, ladies and gentlemen. That is going to be the Tampa Bay Rays. And look, man, they're led by a young guy in Wander Franco, who I think is going to be very good this season. He's going to win MVPs to come. For years to come, man, and I think he really will. They still got a solid pitching staff there, just a great overall team, all-around team. I think the Rays are just a team. They'll consistently just always be in the playoffs. They're what 2 years out of wait, or 2 years ago they made the World Series. So they're a great experienced team. Have some great young talent. Wander Franco is good. So I think they're gonna finish number two here in the division. But number one, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time that this is the crowned team in this division, and that is the Blue Jays. I think that's the Toronto Blue Jays. I think they're gonna finish one in the AL East here, folks. When you look at the talent they have, I mean, let's go through it here. They have Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who could win MVP. Even though they lost Marcus Semien, they got Matt Chapman for the defensive purposes. They lost Robbie Ray, but they brought in a guy like Kevin Gausman. A lot of offseason moves for the Blue Jays, but I think it's their time, man. I think it's Vladdy's time to win MVP. Some of the guys on his team are gonna play well, have a great hitting lineup. Kevin Gausman's gonna be a good pitcher for them, along with some of the other guys they could have. So this is gonna be a really good team. The Toronto Blue Jays, man, if they all play like how they can, I think they could be one of the best teams in the league, not just one of the best in their division. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the AL East. Let's move on to the Central Division, folks. Let's move on to the Central Division. So, in the AL Central, ladies and gentlemen, at number 5 here, at number 5 in the AL Central, I'm going to have the Kansas City Royals. I'm going to have the Kansas City Royals, ladies and gentlemen. Look, they have Salvador Perez, who's an amazing player. He's probably the best catcher in the league last season at the plate. He was just hitting bomb after bomb after bomb, especially down the stretch in the season. They have Bobby Witt Jr., but other than that, I don't really see a lot of excitement and a lot of potential in this team. And that's okay. They're gonna be number 5 in the division, and they're just gonna. I just think you should just build for the future. You have a guy who could really win Rookie of the Year, so. I think just focus on your young talent, the young core that you do have a little bit, and just build on that and just focus on the future because you're honestly not going to compete this year if you're the Kansas City Royals. But at number 4, we're going to go with the Detroit Tigers. The Detroit Tigers, man, they're an interesting team. They have a really good farm system here, but I think they're going to finish number 4. They could finish number 3, but I just don't think so. They like I said, they have a good farm system, but they're another team where they're obviously not going to compete for the top of the division. So just honestly focus on keep building on that, keep building on the young guys that you do have, and build for the future. So at number 3, you got the Cleveland Guardians, man. The Guardians, man, it's 2 players I really like on this team. Obviously Shane Bieber and Jose Ramirez. I just love what the Guardians can bring to the table, folks. Some of the things they can bring to the table, I should say, because I don't think they're going to be the greatest team, but when you're led by Jose Ramirez, who could be a sleeper for MVP, when your pitching staff is led by a guy like Shane Bieber, hopefully guys around them play well. Hopefully their hitting lineup shows up this year. So that's what I think. I think they can be 3rd in the division. I don't think they can actually be any higher than 3rd in this division. I think they're going to finish about 3rd or 4th. So that's what I think about the Guardians. You guys can let me know what y'all think about all this in the comments, though. At number 2, the Minnesota Twins. This team, the Minnesota Twins, made a lot of moves. I mean, they got in Carlos Correa, but they did trade away Josh Donaldson. Got in Gary Sanchez, Gio Urshela. So they have a solid team here. You got Correa, who's going to add some excitement to this team, who's going to add, obviously, great hitting, and he can play the shortstop position. You're going to add Gio Urshela, Gary Sanchez. Gary Sanchez is not good, if I'm being honest. He's not the greatest, but, he's going to be there. He's going to be an extra piece to the puzzle. And I think the Twins could be a playoff team this year. I think they will be a playoff team, and I think they're good enough to finish number 2 here in this division. So, at number 1, you guys already know, I'm going with the Chicago White Sox, ladies and gentlemen. The Chicago White Sox at number 1. And I love what the White Sox have. They have great pitching with Lance Lynn, Lucas Giolito. They brought in Joe Kelly. Michael Kopech looks to step up for them this year. And they also have a great lineup too. Eloy Jimenez, Tim Anderson, Luis Robert, Grant Dahl, one of the top 5 catchers in baseball, in my opinion. So they have a really, really good all-around roster. I love what the White Sox have. I feel like they just have a great all-around roster, and they are the best team in this division. So that's my AL Central. Now let's move on to the AL West. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the AL West, number 5. It's going to be the Oakland A's, ladies and gentlemen. Now, the A's, they trade away Olsen. They trade away Matt Chapman. So you can see they're kind of on a rebuilding, a retooling year here for the in the AL West division. So they're gonna finish number five. They're gonna retool, rebuild this year, maybe next year as well. But one thing to look out for is Frankie Montas. He's gonna be really good for them this year. I think he's gonna have an amazing year. Could be, a top 10, top 15 pitcher in the MLB this season. So, other than that, just retool, rebuild, and just focus on next year. Like I said, with a lot of these teams, a lot of the teams at the bottom of the divisions, I just focus on rebuilding. And the A's, they're just a team who really needs to focus on rebuilding. So they're my number five team. At number four, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go with the Seattle Mariners, ladies and gentlemen. The Seattle Mariners. Um, the Seattle Mariners, they're going in the right direction. They got Julio Rodriguez, they got Jesse Winker added on the team, and they also have Cy Young winner Robbie Ray. So, signing Robbie Ray is huge. You got a guy who's a Cy Young guy who can be year in and year out, but it's just not enough for them to compete in the top of this division. They could finish number three. I definitely could see that, but I just think the team I have at number three, we were going to get into that in a second, but the Mariners going in the right direction, but I think they still need a little bit more work in order to finish top three or top two in this division. Now let's get into our number three team. That's going to be the Texas Rangers, ladies and gentlemen. That is going to be the Texas Rangers. When you want to talk about spending money, the Texas Rangers did it best this offseason. You got a guy in Marcus Semien. You got Corey Seager. Two guys in the infield in that hitting lineup who can really produce for you right now. And they also got John Gray from Colorado, and John Gray I think is interesting with him in the pitching unit because I actually think he could have a really good year, and I brought his name up specifically because playing in Coors Field as a pitcher is kind of your worst nightmare because of obviously everyone knows how Coors Field can get and how much it favors hitters. So, he could have a good year for Texas as well, but I don't think they're ready to win this division yet. I don't know if they're ready to fully make the playoffs yet, but they spend a lot of money, and I think some of this money will pay off. They still have a little bit weaknesses in other parts of this team, but not a bad offseason here for the Texas Rangers, folks. At number two, I think this is going to catch a little bit of people by surprise of what I'm going to say about this number two team. It is the Los Angeles Angels, ladies and gentlemen. I have them at number two, and look, Mike Trout and Shohei Otani are generational. Mike Trout does need to stay healthy, but when he is obviously one of the best players, if not the number one player in baseball when it comes to just all around hitting, playing the outfield, all that good stuff. We all know how great Mike Trout is. Shohei Otani, the ultimate two-way player we have in this league, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, he can hit 40 home runs and have a great pitching year as well. So Otani's a stud. And they're going to get Anthony Rendon back. I think he'll have a better year than he was before he got injured. And I think this is the time. This is the year where the Angels make the playoffs. And, you know, I just think the Angels are ready to just finally put their talent to use for once. Like, we talk about how they waste Mike Trout's career year in and year out. Now it is time for them to finally put some of the talent they have to use on this team. So I have them at number two. And at number one, I'm gonna still go with the Astros. The Astros, the cheating team of MLB. And look, the Houston Astros losing Carlos Correa is big, but they still have Jose Altuve. They still have Alex Bregman. They still have Kyle Tucker. They still have Yordan Alvarez. So they have a great hitting lineup. They're gonna get Justin Verlander back too. So I expect him to be good. I believe he'll be the third pitcher. He'll pitch game three for them this year. You got Lance McCullers, who's going to be a solid pitcher as well. So I like what the Astros have here. Have a really good balanced offense here. And I like what they have. So Astros are going to be number one. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's go through this one more time. In the AL East, you got the Orioles at 5, the Red Sox at 4, Yankees at 3, the Rays at 2, and our Blue Jays at 1. In the Central Division, you have the Royals at 5, the Tigers at 4, the Guardians at 3, the Twins at 2, and the White Sox at 1. And then in the West, you got the A's at 5, the Mariners at 4, the Rangers at 3, the Angels at 2, and the Astros at 1. So, ladies and gentlemen, you guys see it. Who is going to be my AL MVP, folks? My AL MVP this year is going to go to none other than Vladimir Guerrero Jr., ladies and gentlemen. Vladdy Jr. This guy is a beast, man. He's gonna be one of the best players when it comes to just hitting this year. This dude can hit bombs. I heard that he's losing weight as well, which is gonna be good for him. He can hit 40 plus home runs, 100 plus RBIs. Y'all already know. I don't even have to explain what Vladdy can do because y'all just know that Vladdy is a stud and he's gonna have a great season. He's going to have an MVP caliber season. Could have won it last year if it wasn't for the spectacular play of Otani. And I think Otani's still going to be great this year. But I just think Vladdy is going to be on a different level. And I can't wait to see it. And my AL Cy Young winner is going to go to Garrett Cole. Now, you know, I'm a guy. I don't really like the Yankees that much. And I personally don't want to give a lot of praise to the Yankees, but I got to acknowledge talent when it's there because Garrett Cole is one of the best pitchers in the league. And I honestly enjoy watching Garrett Cole pitch. He's dominant, he's great. And I mean, like I said, you guys already know what he can do as well. Garrett Cole is going to be a stud this year, and he's going to be great like he is mostly every year. So, Cy Young goes to Garrett Cole. And then to AL Rookie of the Year, a guy who's getting a lot of hype, who I've been hearing about, and it's going to be Bobby Witt Jr. For the Royals. Like I said, when I dropped my prediction for the Royals, I have them finishing last, but Bobby Witt Jr. could have a really good year for them. He's going to be great. He's going to be obviously one of the best rookies, and I have him winning Rookie of the Year. So, ladies and gentlemen, you guys let me know what y'all think about my AL predictions in the comment section. And yeah, y'all let me know. All you baseball fans out there, let's get it. But, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to move to the NL division, folks. It's time to move to the NL conference. So, we're going to start off same way with the NL East, ladies and gentlemen, or the NL least, just like the NFC least in football. But all jokes aside, let's get into it, folks. We got the NL East division, and at number 5, folks, I'm sorry, I'm going to go with the Washington Nationals. Now, here's the thing about the Nationals. Can they finish, or can Juan Soto finish number 1 in MVP votings? Yes, but it won't matter. And this is not like football or basketball where your team has to be good for you to win MVP. Because we've seen Bryce Harper and Otani win it. Both of those teams didn't win the playoffs. Obviously, we know that. So Soto probably will be the MVP this year, but just no hope here for the Nationals this season. They're going to be garbage. They're going to be bottom of the barrel, the bottom of the basement, and they're going to finish number 5. And number 4, you got the Miami Marlins, ladies and gentlemen. The Marlins will finish at number 4, folks. And the Marlins, even though I think they are not that good as well, I just really don't think they're as bad as what the Nationals are going to put up this year. And they do have Jazz Chisholm, who I actually really like. I'm excited to watch him this year. They did pick up Jorge Soler, but with the additions that the other teams in this division made, I think the Marlins are going to finish number 4. They're going to be better than the Nationals, but they still will finish number 4 because I think these top 3 teams are really, really good in this division. And this won't be a bad division this year. Speaking of number 3, it's going to be the New York Mets. Now, look, the Mets could finish number 2. They have a lot of good pitching. They signed Eduardo Escobar to kind of help them out. Pete Alonso and Francisco Lindor. I expect big things out of them this year. But what scares me is that Scherzer has a little bit of injuries, but I did hear Max Scherzer still will pitch his first game this year. He will pitch game 1, I heard. But the other injury is going to be of Jacob deGrom. I mean, look, you have one of the best pitchers in the league, but when he's consistently getting hurt over the last season and a half, the last 2 seasons, is just starting to scare me with deGrom. I love deGrom. He's one of my favorite players ever to watch at pitcher. I love watching him play, but he keeps getting hurt, and this is going to hurt the Mets because, like I said, they have a good team, have really good pitching, but I just need to see deGrom be healthy because if deGrom is healthy, he's playing consistently throughout the year, it adds another element to this Mets team, in my opinion. So at number 3, I'm going to go with the Mets. At number 2, I'm going to go with the Phillies, folks. I'm going to go with the Phillies, and you already know I got the Phillies hat. I actually got this from a Phillies game, but I'm going to go with the Phillies. Look, man, they signed Castellanos, they signed Kyle Schwarber. We all know that. Losing McCutchen, we'll see how that goes. He was a fan favorite. I personally love watching McCutchen. But you signed Castellanos, you signed Schwarber to add to the NL MVP Bryce Harper. You got Rhys Hoskins, who's looking to have a really big year. JT Realmuto is going to go back, in my opinion, to the best catcher in baseball. And then you got Nola, who's going to be pretty solid this year. Wheeler's a Cy Young guy. But But other than that, you kind of have questions of the rest of their pitching unit. Kyle Gibson is a kind of a question mark there, in my opinion. And then the defense obviously is a huge question mark. And the Phillies, I feel like they could finish number 3. They could drop to number 3 in the division because their defense is just not going to look good, in my opinion, this year. Even though Didi Gregorius looked good defensively in spring training, but that's another conversation to have a different day. But the Phillies, they're going to finish number 2. Great offensive team. They're going to hit a lot of home runs, a lot of RBIs. This team is probably going to lead the NL in home runs and RBIs, to be honest, because they have such a great hitting lineup. And, they're going to finish number 2. But at number 1, I'm going with the defending champs, the Atlanta Braves. Listen here, folks. I hate the Braves, okay? But one thing about the Braves is that they, the best possible way you could have replaced Freddie Freeman, you did it. You got Matt Olson, so you did that. They got a solid pitcher rotation. I like Max Fried and Charlie Morton, Ian Anderson. Those guys are going to be really good for them this year. Also, bringing in Kenley Jansen is going to be really, really good for their bullpen. I love that Kenley Jansen move for the Braves. And they're going to finish number 1, and you're going to look to get Ronald Acuna Jr. back in the middle of the season. And if you add him back in that lineup, let him run the DH until he gets back fully healthy. This Braves team is going to be good. They won a championship without Ronald Acuna Jr., folks. They can be dangerous when he gets back in this lineup. The Braves team, honestly, is very, very scary, and I think I like the things that they're going to be doing this year. Defending champs, the Atlanta Braves, will finish number 1 in their division. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to go to the Central Division. It's time here to go to the Central Division. Ladies and gentlemen, at number 5, I think this is all something we can all agree with. And if you disagree, honestly, I don't know what's wrong with you, but it's the Pirates. At number 5 is the Pirates. Honestly, the Pirates suck. They suck. But they could have the Rookie of the Year, which we'll get into later when we give our predictions. They do have a Rookie of the Year candidate going into the season. Ke'Bryan Hayes, I like him. He's a good young talent. But other than that, I just think the Pirates absolutely suck. We all can agree. We can move on. Don't need to talk about them for much longer. At number 4, we're going to go with the Cincinnati Reds. Here's the thing about the Reds. They are losing some of their talent, but their payroll is going down lower and lower. They lost Jesse Winker, lost Castellanos, so that's going to be interesting. And I think Castellanos and Winker both not being on this roster anymore will show a little bit, especially with their hitting. But they're going to be number 4. They're going to, they're not going to pay a lot of money to a lot of people this year. So, we'll see what happens with the Reds. I think number 4 is the perfect spot for them. At number 3, I'm going to go with the Chicago Cubs. I could also see the Cubs going number 4 as well. And obviously, they have like the surprise signing in Suzuki. So we'll see how he does, so we'll see how exciting he is. But obviously, we all know they're not going to be competing for the top of the division this year. They traded away all their championship guys, traded away Rizzo, traded away Chris Bryant, Javi Baez. We all know what happened at the trade deadline last year. So they're just kind of still retooling, still rebuilding. I like the Suzuki move, though, so we'll see how that goes here, folks. But number two, we are going to go with the Cardinals, the St. Louis Cardinals, ladies and gentlemen. And I like what the Cardinals have. They had a good signing. I like what that Steven Matz signing. It adds depth to their pitching unit. And they have a solid infield. Nolan Arenado's a beast. I love watching him play. Paul Goldschmidt's pretty good too. And I think they're going to finish number 2 here in this division. I think they could make the playoffs. And I honestly like the Cardinals this year. They're going to have a solid year. At number 1, I think this is honestly no doubt this year. It is the Brewers, ladies and gentlemen. Listen here about the Brewers, folks. They signed a pretty solid hitting. Now, I know they lost Eduardo Escobar, but they signed Hunter Renfroe and Andrew McCutchen, which is going to add some excitement into their lineup. McCutchen, who was a very Phillies fan favorite. I loved him when he was in Philadelphia. Obviously, a former MVP as well. You got Hunter Renfroe, who can put up 30 home runs. He's going to have exciting moments this year. Hopefully, Christian Yelich has a great year again. I miss when Christian Yelich was at his MVP level, man. I love watching that, so hopefully they get that. Still got Willy Adames, who was decent for them last year. Their pitching unit is amazing. You got Peralta, Woodruff, and obviously Cy Young, Corbin Burns. So I love this Brewers team, and I think they, year in and year out, I always say with the Brewers, especially the last few years, they could be a sleeper team to win the win it all, but they just haven't done it. But they really have a great team, and I love what the Brewers can bring to the table here, ladies and gentlemen. So that is the NL Central, folks. Let's get into the NL West. At number 5, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be the Rockies. It's going to be the Rockies. We all agree with this. I think I don't have to talk too much about this, other than they signed Chris Bryant to sell tickets so he can hit home runs in Coors Field. Charlie Blackmon's probably going to get dealt at the deadline, so you can say goodbye to him by the time the trade deadline gets there. I don't have to say too much. The Rockies absolutely suck. At number 4, we're going to go with the D-backs here, the Diamondbacks. And Ketel Marte is going to be amazing. I'm glad that he got his contract because he's going to be the face of this franchise. I want them to build a team to help him, build a good pitching staff, build up your farm system. Just build a young team around them. You're not going to compete this year. You're going to finish number 4, and that's what I have to say about the Diamondbacks. And number 3, you got the Padres. Now, here's the thing about the Padres, man. They can actually be really good, and they could finish number 2 or 1 in this division, and I've been waiting for them to do that for like the last 2 to 3 years now. But Tatis is already on the injury list. He got in a motorcycle accident, very unfortunate. I mean, you still got guys. I love Machado there. He's going to be great for them, obviously. And when Tatis is healthy, he's going to be amazing as well. But I have questions about their pitching unit. What are you going to get from Blake Snell? What are you going to get from Yu Darvish? That's the questions I have. And until they're answered, I have to say the Padres are finishing number 3 in the division, folks. At number 2, we got the division champions from last year, the San Francisco Giants. The Giants will take a slight fall from last year. They obviously the unfortunate, or not unfortunate, but you do have the retirement of Buster Posey, who was your catcher. That was your guy. If you're a Giants fan, you're gonna lose Kevin Gausman, but you get back Carlos Rodon in free agent signings. I love that move for the Giants. He's gonna be good. I like some of their pitchers too. Alex Wood. You're gonna have Descalfani, who's gonna be looking to have a decent year as well. And some of the other guys in that rotation. So I think they're gonna finish number 2, but I think number 1 here, folks, and it's a reason why I saved this team and this division for last, because this is the best team in baseball. It is the Los Angeles Dodgers, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the thing about the Dodgers. We all know what they can do. You got the best team in baseball, the best lineup in baseball. Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Max Muncy, Trey Turner, Justin Turner. I mean, and they have more players like Gavin Lux and Chris Taylor, who is going to produce for them this year as well. Their pitching unit is going to be a good and exciting. Walker Buehler, Julio Urias are going to be great this year. Obviously, Clayton Kershaw is coming back. Looked actually pretty good in spring training this year. Trevor Bauer is a question mark. Will he be pitching for the Dodgers this year? Hopefully. Obviously, everyone knows what happened with that situation, but that is where I have the Dodgers. So let's go through it before we get into our awards for the NL. In the NL East, at number 5, the Nationals. Number 4, the Marlins. Number 3, the Mets. Number 2, the Phillies. Number 1, the Braves. In the Central, at number 5, you got the Pirates. Number 4, you got the Reds. Number 3, you got the Cubs. Number 2, you have the Cardinals. And number 1, you got the Brewers. For the NL West, at number 5, you got the Rockies. Number 4, you got the D-backs. Number 3, you got the Padres. Number 2, you got the Giants. And number 1, you got the Dodgers. So, you guys let me know what y'all think down below in the comments. You can agree, disagree. I'll be reading every comment, so y'all can go ahead with that. But our final awards, ladies and gentlemen, with the NL division, folks. The NL Conference, excuse me. For MVP, I'm going to go with Juan Soto. He is going to be so dominant. He is going to carry so much. And if Juan Soto was not on the Nationals this year, the Nationals might win a total of like 10 games. And I know that obviously that's like an exaggeration, but he's going to carry, bruh. He is going to carry. He's going to be a god this year at the plate. He is just going to be a great home run hitter, a great hitter. Just in general, he can do it all. Juan Soto's a beast. I don't need to explain more. And then the NL Cy Young, I'm going to go with Zach Wheeler. He could have won it last year, but Corbin Burns obviously was a beast. And Corbin Burns could win it again this year. But Zach Wheeler's a god, man. This dude can do it all at the mound. He's a great pitcher, and the Phillies are going to love him this year. And he's going to get a lot of wins, and he's going to be great this year. So that's my Cy Young. And then for my NL Rookie of the Year, I'm going to go with O'Neal Cruz from the Pirates. I heard a lot of great things from him. In the minor leagues, I believe he had like 17 home runs, 63 RBIs, something in the minors. Look pretty good. He can play shortstop, so he'll be good for the Pirates. And the only thing the Pirates will win this year is that they'll have the NL Rookie of the Year. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is my MLB prediction for 2022. Come by on Friday for my Phillies opening day live stream. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys think I got something wrong or you guys disagree with something, let it known in the comment section. I appreciate y'all for watching this video. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for me to go. I appreciate you guys. And until next time, you've been talking sports with MG Nas. And until next time, we are out. Peace.